Are there decisions in your financial life that you just have to say yes to? No matter the situation, you just have to, yeah, well, I got to do that. Like the phrase that comes to mind is a no-brainer. Are there financial no-brainers? Yeah, there's a few. There's a few. I want to share those with you so you can take advantage. I got that and more coming up. One of the things that most people don't realize is that your financial life is unbelievably unique. You might look and say, well, I don't know, I've got to be pretty similar financially to my neighbor, right? Our houses are about the same size, they're about the same value. We have similar careers, we drive similar cars, still, 2.2 kids and white picket fence and one dog, right? So we're the same, right? You have no idea the small, invisible, very private financial decisions that have been made that make your situation, again, outwardly, yeah, pretty similar, but internally, the part of your wealth, like that's, wealth is private, no one sees it, where you are over here and your neighbor is over there, or your siblings over there, or your coworkers over there. You might think, socially we're very similar. No, underneath the hood, your finances are so incredibly unique. And the reason why this can be a mistake is oftentimes when you look at someone else and they're doing certain things, well, that might make a lot of sense in their financial situation, or it actually might not make any sense at all. You just can't tell. But from your perspective, you say, well, they're doing that. We're pretty similar. I should be able to do that stuff too, and end up making errant decisions. Your financial life is extraordinarily unique to you, and you need to be looking at all 6 areas of your financial life, working with your CFP to make critical decisions that make sense for your specific financial situation. And speaking of financial decisions, are there some that if you have an opportunity to do this, or if this situation presents itself, it's a no-brainer, right? It's free tickets to the World Cup. It's free, what are the financial no-brainers that apply to just about everyone? Well, there's a handful, right? There's two that sort of rise above the others and say, well, almost regardless of any situation, you've got to do these two things. I've got two more that are maybe just a little bit below that, where, yeah, if the conditions are right, you're going to do these as well. So what are those financial no-brainers? The first one, getting the full company match. If your employer offers a 401k, 403b, simple IRA, some sort of retirement plan where they offer a company match, where if you do 5%, they'll do 4%. If you do 3%, they'll do 3%. If you do 8%, they'll do 4%. Something like that, it's a no-brainer. I mean, and I say it like that, just with the pause and everything, with the empathy, because it's sincere, because we've worked with plenty of individuals where when they come in, they're not taking full advantage of the company match. And it's typically for a couple of reasons. The primary one is they thought they were getting the full company match, but the rules changed, the formula changed, and they're not, right? So you got to stay on top of it. But the other is a short-term financial or urgent financial issue. Oh, my child's going into college. Or we just had this medical emergency. We just had this, this issue, this curveball in our financial life. We weren't prepared, and we've got to address this. This is right in front of us, and I need to back off on the 401k. And I get those reasons. I do. And yet, sort of like what did I say? The free World Cup tickets, or for me, the free Stanley Cup final tickets. Like you're not going to say no to that, even if it's like, well, it's going to cost you some gas money, and you're going to have to pay for parking. And when you're there, you're probably going to get hungry, so you're going to buy a pretzel or a hot dog, something like that. So it's going to cost you something. But boy, the goodness, the what you get is like double what it's going to cost you, triple, or in some of those instances. So yeah, getting a company match, it is going to cost you your contribution. You're going to have to put money in. This is not a mandatory contribution from your employer. I mean, of course, that's a no-brainer as well, but you don't need to do anything for that. To get the full company match, you've got to both understand, well, what's the formula, and then make enough contribution to get the full company match. In my opinion, it's a no-brainer. And the other things, other priorities in your financial life, I would make sure that you're getting the full company match and then doing the other things. So this is where a lot of people think, well, getting the full company match, I mean, that's the maximum I should do to my 401k. Guys, that's the minimum you should do to your 401k. And if you've got other urgent short-term financial priorities, therefore the minimum's appropriate for this season, fine. Do the minimum, get the full company match, attend to everything else, then go back and get your 401k contribution up to 15% or so, depending on your specific financial situation. That's no-brainer number one. No-brainer number two, you might argue with me on this. If you've got an HSA qualified high deductible health plan, I'm calling it a no-brainer. You've got to contribute to your HSA. And the reason why it's a no-brainer is because it's a no-brainer. You're going to have medical expenses. Maybe you don't know when, right? I'm hoping you go to the dentist. I'm just going to say that. You might, go to the eye doctor once a year. You buy new contacts like me. You're going to have some inevitable. It's just, even the most healthy of us, you're going to have some medical expenses. And if you've got an HSA eligible high deductible health plan, the question is, are you getting a tax benefit on those inevitable medical expenses? Are you? And you should, right? Because your contribution to your HSA is pre-tax. You get a tax deduction. Any interest or growth on that account is tax sheltered. When you withdraw the dollars and use them for qualified medical expenses, they come out tax-free. There's nothing else in the tax code like it. Therefore, if you have an HSA eligible high deductible health plan, it's a no-brainer in my opinion to fund your HSA. The question becomes how much? And this is where I can't say it's a no-brainer because it, again, very much depends on your unique financial situation. Most people treat their HSA like we call it delayed spending, like a short-term savings account for medical expenses. And I get it. That is how it's framed. If you've got the financial resources, I wouldn't view it that way. I would try and contribute the maximum amount each and every year. In 2026, that maximum amount, $4,400 for individual coverage, $8,750 for family coverage, and an extra $1,000 above and beyond that per person if you're age 55 or older. So those are your contribution limits. And the reason why I would want you to do the maximum if you can is because any dollars that you don't use this year for medical expenses, they roll over to next year. It's your money. It's not use it or lose it. It's your money, and it can continue to grow earning interest. Or if you build up an account and really are intentional with it, this can be an additional retirement account that you can use in retirement for the inevitable healthcare expenses that come up in retirement. Financial no-brainer number two is if you're eligible to use an HSA, to fund an HSA, is making a contribution using your HSA. Now, those sort of stand apart as like no-brainers. But just beneath that is a whole laundry list of, well, that's a no-brainer as well if the conditions are right. And I'm only going to isolate two of them. Don't want to make this video hours long, right? But one of them is refinancing your mortgage if you can reduce your interest rate by more than 1%. Now, when would this not be a no-brainer? If you're going to be moving in the short term, don't pay the cost to refinance your mortgage. If that mortgage is just about paid off and so you're not going to have, so typically, and there's a few reasons for this. If you're not going to have the mortgage 3 to 5 years from now because you're going to move, or it's going to be paid off, something like that, then you probably wouldn't refinance. Outside of that though, if you can save at least 1% or reduce your interest rate by at least 1%, I'm going to call it a no-brainer to refinance your mortgage. You got to be eligible, you got to qualify, you got to have the right conditions and all that sort of stuff, avoid PMI, all of that. But outside of that, if you can reduce your mortgage interest rate, which is, critical right now, mortgage rates have been fluctuating, frustratingly, they haven't come back down the way everyone wanted them to. But if you can save at least 1% and you're going to have that mortgage for, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, probably refinancing. And then the last one I'll mention, there is a whole host of Social Security no-brainers. If this, you got to draw Social Security. If this, you got to draw Social Security. And so there's just a ton of them that I would mention, but the one that just, is the highest of the no-brainers is probably the one that doesn't apply to as many people, and that is when you've got spousal or survivor or family benefits. That's a lot, but if you are in a situation, spousal, survival, or family benefits, those are often the times where, you have to start your Social Security right now. Like the decision on delaying or not, no, you have to start it right now. I shared one recently on a video about a unique, I'm going to say loophole, but gosh, in an awful situation, if you're a widow or widower, you can actually still do something called a restricted application, where you could file to receive only your deceased spouse's Social Security and let your Social Security continue to grow and delay that until 70. And so if you're not working, the conditions are right, and you're a widow or widower, it's a no-brainer turn on that restricted application to begin collecting your deceased spouse's Social Security, let yours continue to grow, and then switch over to that one at some time in the future. If you're still married and your spouse is, the conditions are right, they should be collecting Social Security, but you've decided to delay, once you reach a certain point, you're going to want to turn on your Social Security so they can begin getting half of yours, right? And yes, age difference, that matters. And then finally, if you've got a dependent who is younger than age 18 and you're eligible for Social Security, conditions need to be right. Maybe you shouldn't be, if you're working, but turning on Social Security actually means they're eligible for some Social Security benefits because they're a minor. So a long list, a whole host of Social Security no-brainers, that's a few of them. So what financial no-brainers exist for your unique and specific financial situation? And can you say confidently, oh yeah, I'm doing all the no-brainers. And beyond the no-brainers, I'm doing all the stuff that I know I need to do to be on track, have the peace of mind, and take the right approach to my finances. Work with your certified financial planner on that. If you don't have a CFP on your team, contact one on my team. Find us online, Korhorn.com. That's Korhorn with K. WiseMoneyShow.com. You can find us there as well, or give us a call, 574-247-5898. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.